Okay, so distance and midpoint formulas review. Distance formula is this equation right here. D equals the square root, parentheses, x2 minus x1, close parentheses, squared, plus y2 minus y1, close parentheses, squared. You do that so that you need to find the difference of the values, so how many points are between the x values, how many points are between the y values. You square it, and then you add after you square this too. Remember this little 2 right here just means the x value from the second point, and this means the y value, and then the 1 means 0.1. This is one of those formulas in math where you could see where the formula came from, but it's one of those things you just want to be okay with looking at the formula. So that's distance formula. Now midpoint for kind of the same thing, except for your answer you have to write as whatever, comma, whatever you get. Again, the x, the 1 means the x2 means x value from point 2, y1, y2. So go ahead, pause that, and write those all down. And then I'm going to start working the problem. Okay, so if I want to find the distance and the midpoint between the point 0, 0 and 4, 6. So we have the point 0, 0, and we have the point at 4, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have this point up here. Now the reason that we are doing this review is because we're going to be talking about circles, and I'm not going to be able to draw a very good circle, but we're talking about equations of circles. Whoa, that's a terrible circle. Not an oval, but we need to, before we can talk about equations of circles, we need to remember how to find the distance. Well, if I'm talking about a circle, this distance would be the diameter. So that distance would be the diameter. And then the midpoint, so you can actually see on this one which one the midpoint is just because of how well I drew it. You can find the center of the circle. So that's what we're going to be mathematically doing to find the distance and the midpoint. So to find the distance, d equals the square root, parentheses. Now this is again x1, y1. This is y2, that's x2. x2, look up at this formula, I'm going to take, which is 4, minus x1, which is 0, close parentheses, squared, plus, open parentheses, y2, which is 6, minus 0, close parentheses, squared. So it's taking this horizontal distance, which is 4 spots because it's 4 minus 0, and this vertical distance, which in this case is 6. So it would be 4 minus 0 is 4, plus 6 minus 0 would be 6 squared, and then it's going to take the square root of it. Okay, 4 squared plus 6 squared, or 4 squared is 16, plus 6 squared, which is 36. Add those up, 16 plus 36 is 52. And we need to take the square root of 52, which is approximately 7.21. So that would be the distance. If you kind of look at this, you know that that's, so you can't really count. If it was this way, you could just count, but when it's diagonal like that, you can count. All right, now let's find the midpoint. We can really see it on this one, but I like practicing with easier numbers, and then we'll do a harder one in just a second. So we have x1, again, that's 0. I'm using this formula right here. So x1 is 0, plus x2, which is 4, divide by 2. Then I'm going to do y1, which is 0, plus y2, which is 6, divided by 2. So 0 plus 4 is 4, divide by 2. 0 plus 6 is 6. Oh, sorry. So 4 divided by 2, 0 plus 4 is 4, divided by 2. 0 plus 6 is 6, divide by 2. 4 divided by 2, again you could add in 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2, remember to write a fraction like this, you just do top divided by bottom. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. That would be my midpoint, which we have already marked, and that would be the center of a circle with those 2 points. So our distance, or our diameter in this case, would be 7.21, and then our midpoint would be 3. Okay, let's do another one. So if I have the point -3, 5, and 8, comma, -1. So we have -3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, you could draw a circle around those 2 points, or that's what we're going to be working on. This one is a little bit harder to see. So our horizontal distance is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which 11 is an odd number. So when you divide that by 2, it's going to be some type of decimal. So again, this is x1. Oops, I think I used a different, oh no I didn't. And y1, x2, and y2. So for a distance formula, d equals square root, parentheses, x2, which is 8, minus x1, which is -3, close parentheses, squared, plus open parentheses, y2, which is -1. Oops, and I just wrote a plus sign instead of a minus sign. Minus y1, which is 5, close parentheses, squared. Okay, now we need to do 8 minus -3. Remember, when you subtract a negative number, so when you subtract a negative number, it's actually addition, because the opposite of a negative number is a positive, or if you subtract a negative, you're just adding. So then it would be, I'll type it in both ways just to show you, and then 8 plus 3 is 11. So it would be 11 squared plus, think about a -1 minus 5 So -1 minus 5 would be -6. Now, it's important that you put those parentheses, because if you don't put those parentheses in a second, it's going to mess you up. So 11 squared, 11 times 11 is 121. I'll keep the plus sign. Now, look at the difference here. So when you write a squared like this, you are telling it to square the 6 and then the negative. But when you doing this, it's actually all of that is in parentheses. So the -6 should be in parentheses because you should be telling the calculator, I'm squaring a -6. Remember, a negative times a negative is a positive 36. So then we'll add 121 plus 36, get 157. The square root of 157, and then to push, I don't think I said this a minute ago, to hit square root on a calculator, you hit second in that button right there. You can kind of see it, it's a little small, but it's right there. So then it would be 12.5, and 9 makes the 2 round to a 3. So it would be 12.53. That's the distance between those two. Okay? And then now let's do the mid. So then again, both of them divided by 2. So it'd be x1. If you look back up here, x1 is -3 plus x2, which is 8. Then we have y1, which is 5, plus y2, which is -1. Okay, if you add those together, -3 plus 8 is 5. So it'd be 5 divided by 2. 5 plus a -1, or 5 minus 1, would be 4 divided by 2. 5 divided by 2, remember, type 5 divided by 2, which is 0.5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So at that point, I'm going to go ahead and graph that just to make sure. So I'm going to go x, along the x-axis, 2.5, so 1, 2.5, and then I'm going to go up 2, so 1, 2. And that should be the midpoint. Okay? So that's how you find the distance and how you find the midpoint.